What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am your host, the bald, the beard, the beautiful man himself, Piers Austin, and we are brought to you by Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance on Facebook and on YouTube. Guys, my guest today is someone who I've been a fan of for many, many years. This is like an opportunity for me to meet one of my heroes, and I am so excited to be sitting down and having a conversation with him. But before I bring out Vampiro, I just want to take a quick moment to thank some of our amazing sponsors that make this show possible. First up is A-Rock Designs. A-Rock Designs is that company that you are seeing all over the wrestling Facebook groups, the wrestling pages. They make custom cups, hoodies, keychains, t-shirts, tumblers, you name it, they make it. They made me this amazing CM Punk tumbler, which I absolutely love, and everyone knows I'm a huge mark for Punk. But guys, definitely go and check them out. They have amazing prices. They have amazing product. Head over there and speak to Ashley Rodriguez and get your merch today, guys. Next is Signal Studios. Signal Studios is a recording studio based here in Sydney, Australia. So if you're an independent professional wrestler and you want to get yourself some new entrance music, something you can vibe to the ring to, or if you're just a musician that wants to get their music, mixed, mastered, all that sort of stuff, my boy Rafi can hook you up. Even if you're in the Sydney area and you are a musician, you want a place to jam or a place to record, you can head down to their studio in West Ryde in Sydney, Australia, and it is one of the most comfortable places to get your creative juices absolutely flowing. Guys, my third sponsor for the evening is WCW Championship Belts. So, guys, if you are a wrestling fan, every wrestling fan either wants to own a championship belt or owns a championship belt. WCW Championship Belts, they make an amazing product at an affordable price. And if you want to get a custom championship belt, they can make that for you. If you want a replica of your favorite belt, they can make that for you as well, guys. So head over there, check out WCW Championship Belts. They've got special payment plans so you can pay off your belt until that belt is in your hot little hand. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring out my guest right now. He is Vampiro. Vamp, thank you so much for coming on, brother.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you been?
I'm been doing great. I've been doing really, really well. I'm blessed. I'm happy. Is this live for your fans and your people?
It is live for our fans right now. We got a few people in the chat already.
Oh, cool. Well, I just want to say hi to everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's good. I wish I could have gone there and wrestled and met people in person. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But it's good to be here, anyways.
Oh man, absolutely. I'm sure that there'll be a time for you to come down to Australia once this pandemic is finished, man. But how, with the whole COVID thing, how has that affected you? Has it affected you at all in any way?
Fuck. Not. I mean, I'm in such a different place now in my life, you know, and I think differently, and because of the process of recuperating my health, I just have a different perspective on life. And the thing that's affected me the most is just how easy it is to manipulate people, how scared people are, and the hysteria. That makes me sad. You know what I'm saying? Because, it just shows that we're missing the correct leadership, spirituality, more unity, more harmony. There's just so many things that are so simple to change. And it's just sad to see that so many people can't see that yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a society that we live in where people feel that, you know, this sense of, you know, that they don't have to follow rules, or they just feel like that other people aren't important, and it's almost like a level of selfishness that we see. And I find it, like, I'm not sure about the United States, but in Australia you definitely see that in society today, where it's like, you know, if we all just do the right thing, we're going to be able to be okay. And you know, a lot of people just don't really grasp that.
Yeah,
but
it's a learning curve, right? People are going to change, everything's going to be okay. It's just right now it's sad to see so many people, you know, misguided, lost.
Yeah, absolutely. But one thing, you know, you mentioned your health, and how are you going health wise? Like, you look fantastic. You look like you're in great shape.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I've been blessed. I when I got diagnosed and I was, I was like 330 pounds, something like that. And I was really, really sick with the Alzheimer's thing and the PTSD. I met some people and they decided to help me get better with alternative medicine, which would basically acupuncture, very serious deep tissue massage, chiropractic work, and a lot of spiritual work, meditation, embracing the vegan lifestyle, getting rid of the pharmaceuticals. I'm a big advocate for medicinal marijuana. So living that lifestyle, and especially the last year, just dedicated myself to this 24 hours a day for one straight year, just being in therapy. I've lost over 100 pounds. I'm healthy. I got my mind is back. I'm functioning again. I'm retaining information. I'm doing good business. I'm doing the right thing in life. I'm helping a lot of people. So I'm great, my friend. I've never been better. I'm blessed.
Yeah, no, you definitely seem to be in great shape, but you mentioned 330 pounds.
Yeah.
What were you when you were performing in the ring? What was your walk around weight on usually for that? Was it around that 300 pound, or you
No,
probably
like 260, 270 around there.
yeah? And how do you feeling once now that you've dropped that weight? Do you feel more healthier? You mentioned like being on a plant-based diet and a vegan diet. Was that the main contributing factor to helping you lose that weight as well as exercise, of course?
That's a huge part of it, right? And but the mindset and the commitment to wanting to get better, being tired of being sick, and just the change of mindset, especially with the spirituality, practicing ritual magic, which is basically meditations at a different level. All that, just learning how to reframe things, like I'm not a victim. I have a hurdle to get over. It's a different way of looking at it. For example, that all of it helped, and I feel great. I'm happy that I still have some trauma, and my memory is so because I feel like I'm 15 years old, man. I play video games all day and I save the world at night. So, I feel like a superhero.
Man, that is amazing that you have such a great outlook on life. And I think that to have that sort of like, I'm not the victim, this is a hurdle. How do I get over this hurdle? And I think that that's the best way to overcome things in life, because it's like you can sit there and say, oh, fuck, poor me, all this, or you can say, all right, this is the shit that I've got in front of me right now. How do I get over this and move on past it? And I think that that's a very important outlook for most people should have.
It's really easy to do once you understand what you need to do, but you've got to do the work, and the work is not easy. The trick to it is you've got to overcome your ego. You've got to defeat your ego. You've got to surrender to the process, and that's a tough one, man. Because you're programmed to think certain things because of your upbringing or your cultural beliefs or whatever influences you. It's all wrong. The moment you can say that anything that's gone wrong in your life, your job, your economic state, your relationships, your addiction, whatever the fuck is wrong with you, the moment you can say that every one of those things has one thing in common, and it's that I was involved in it, then the problem is me. It's not anything else. And once you can confront that, after that, you're good, brother. That's how it works.
Absolutely. And you said a very important word there, ego. And, people's ego, sometimes, they get stuck in ego, where it's like, instead of being present and being in that present moment, they have that ego comes back and they're stuck in that ego. Me, poor me. And to be able to, you need to be able to take a step back and look at a situation. And as you said, and go, I'm involved in every one of these situations that are being really shitty right now.
Is marijuana legal where you are?
Fuck no, bro. I've been trying to get that shit legal for a long. I'd love to see it legal here, man.
It's medicinal, dude. So it is what it is, man. I'm sorry.
Nah, I think it probably will be medicinal here in Australia in the next couple of years, but Australia's ass backwards, man. Like it really is, especially because you mentioned being an advocate for and a user of medicinal marijuana. Marijuana does so much good.
Yes, it does.
Like it does so much good for the body, whether it be CBD, THC. It makes people rest. Like I've got a friend of mine who goes through amazing, incredible amounts of pain, and she started taking THC oil, CBD oil,
Right.
and it slowly started to help her condition. And it's like, dude, just legalize it, man. Like it does more good than harm. Like the old mentality of like, and my wife, who is a very straight edge, not straight edge, but a very straighty 180 person, she looks as like, no, marijuana is just as bad as heroin. And we have this conversation all the time. I'm like, it's not. It really isn't. It's heroin destroys you. Marijuana helps repair you. There's a difference.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's exactly what I said when I got into the spirituality. I absolutely refuse to discuss or debate or argue. I've found my journey, and I believe in what I believe in. So I absolutely know for a fact, because I was dying. I lost all this weight. I've changed my lifestyle. I've saved my life, and I've got off of a 28-year addiction to pain pills and all these other things that the doctors were prescribing me by using medicinal marijuana, which is a plant. So if somebody says it's just like heroin or they're against it, okay, it's whatever works for you, that's completely fine. I know it saved me. If I can influence somebody down the road and it helps somebody, that's great. But if I can't even waste the time to discuss this, because I'm so thankful that I'm alive and I've been saved. I'm just happy. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely, and that's the thing. I'm in complete agreement with you, and I honestly hope that Australia gets their shit in order and able to legalize it, even for more medicinal use here, because it, like I said, it does more harm than good. But you mentioned going out and really being a part of saving the community, so to speak, and being part of the guardian angels is one thing that I found out about you, and it really intrigued me. Hold on a sec. Let me make that a big screen so people can see that. So that
guardian, where the fuck's my camera?
There you go. Wow, man. Yeah. So the guardian angels, for people that don't know, can you just explain, like, what are the guardian angels?
The guardian angels is a group of volunteers that started in New York City in the late 70s, right when New York was at its worst. There were no police on the streets at night because the economy was so bad the city couldn't afford to pay them. So crime was rampant. The city was bankrupt, and there was nothing but violence, muggings, rapes, kidnappings, extortions, all of that stuff that you can even imagine. It was all true. So Curtis Lewa, who was the nighttime manager at a 24-hour McDonald's, used to have to ride the subway to and from work at like 3 and 4 in the morning. He was just sick and tired of people getting robbed and mugged and beaten. So he made a deal with all these kids getting out of jail, out of youth detention, because they needed jobs. So he said, I'm going to hire you at McDonald's. We're going to call you the Burger Boys. We're going to have a police radio. When we hear that there's a gang fight or something, we're going to close McDonald's. We're going to hit the streets. We're going to clean the neighborhood. We're going to wipe these motherfuckers off the street. So that's kind of how it started. So they were like a vigilante group, complete volunteers, and the police didn't like them. So they would end up in jail every weekend with the same criminals they were fighting. So they all weekend long was just a beating. But it's evolved now. And we've got over 400 different programs for youth, community service, people getting out of prisons, out of domestic violence situations. We have millions and millions and millions of people who support this. We're in over 120 different countries. It's just an amazing lifestyle because it gets the community involved in it. So it's like a deterrent, you know what I mean? It used to be just patrolling neighborhoods, helping people feel safe so that people couldn't sell drugs or there would be no muggings because there was just so many guardian angels on the corner watching. But we go out uniformed. We have a red jacket. We wear the red beret. Our logo is the wings. It says guardian angels. And we just kind of patrol the neighborhoods offering assistance. But now that there's so much security out there, we've evolved into other things. We have youth programs, martial arts classes. We got dance classes. We got life skill classes, first aid classes. We got a whole bunch of programs. So it's just a volunteer thing, and it just makes one feel complete.
Yeah, and it definitely sounds like it's a benefit to a community to have that. As you said, it was more to sort of clean up the streets, but now sort of being more involved in the community, like to give these kids that may be troubled youths a place where they can sort of understand that they don't have to go down that path of negativity and the life on the street.
Yep. And there's no discrimination. There's no prejudice. None of that. We were unarmed. We have no special privileges. We don't act like police. We're just concerned citizens who want everybody to have the same opportunity to have a safe, good quality of life. That's it.
And that's a complete volunteer thing, the Guardian Angels, is it?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And how much of your time do you find that you're spending with the Guardian Angels and working?
I mean, I've been in the Guardian Angels just a little over 20 years. So, at for people like me or people who are this involved, it's kind of like a calling. So
yeah,
you're always in Guardian Angel mode. The way you think, the protocols you follow, the etiquette, things like that. I've really been struggling with this mental health stuff, so I've cracked a bit. You know what I mean? A little bit. I've forgotten some things a little bit more aggressive, but I shouldn't do that. But if you're in the Guardian Angels and you're representing them at this level, like I do, it's a 24-hour thing that you're kind of on call.
Yeah. And with that, obviously being a wrestling star and someone who has a celebrity status as well, that obviously gives those kids that are looking up to, since you've been in it for 20 years, give you someone to look up to, saying, okay, well, Vampiro is doing this. And did you find that you get that sort of reaction from some of these troubled kids where they're looking up to guys like yourself or people that they've seen on television to really think, okay, this guy hasn't gone down this path, or this guy is now doing this. Maybe going down and becoming a Guardian Angel is something I should do.
That was exactly the reason I got it. Well, I saw the Guardian Angels when they started. I was 9 years old, and I saw them on the news when it happened in New York City. These guys that would go down with their uniforms and the red berets, and patrol the subways using martial arts to defend people against crime. I thought that was the coolest thing ever in the history of the fucking human race. I have to do that. And so when I was really tired of I hated wrestling, but I need to address that later. Okay, I'm going to say that just for this conversation. So I was doing everything to get away from it. And I was looking for what I was going to do with the fame that I had, because it was illogical to throw that fame away. Yeah. So instead of doing stupid fucking soap operas and things like that, which I should have done, I thought I can go to the streets where I came from and use that persona to open the doors in areas that are a little rougher around the edges. You know what I'm saying? And it definitely worked. And it's a blessing that Vampiro was able to do that.
Oh, absolutely. We have got a question from one of our audience members, Tyler Peck, who said, how would one get involved in the Guardian Angels?
There are no Guardian Angels in Australia, I don't think.
No, Tyler is in Georgia in the United States.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, is he? I didn't see that.
Yeah. Sorry. He's in the United States.
I believe, it's Tyler. It's really easy. You go to guardianangels.org, and you look where the chapters are, and you just literally click on the link, and it'll take you to the direct contact of the chapter leader. And that's that easy. You call them, make an appointment. They'll do a very quick interview with you. If you go out on patrol, it's like a trial, and just so that you can see what it's like, and they'll talk to you on the, you know what I mean? And then if you're going to commit, it's a 3-month trial. So they get to know you. They're going to know how you're going to react. They need to train you. You need to learn the first aid, the self-defense, all the laws of the street and the laws of the city. Those are two different things. You got to be cool with the street people, and that means a community that could fuck you up if you do the wrong thing. So you go through that, and if you're into it, then you get your official uniform and you become a guardian angel. It's pretty cool, but that's the process.
There you go, Tyler. Maybe we'll see you out there as one of the guardian angels over in the US.
Yeah.
But a good friend of mine, Kevin Rodriguez, who you've been on his show, The War Room, he has a question and it's come up. So sorry to go back on this one, Vamp, but he says, Vamp, how do you feel now that pro wrestling is embracing medical marijuana with the likes of Matt Riddle?
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. I mean, pro wrestling, anything in show business will make you crazy. But pro wrestling is such a very tough environment. It'll make you suicidal. It's very difficult. There's a lot of people with mental health issues. Yeah. It's it fucks with you. And CDB and a little bit of THC controls that anxiety. You don't need any drugs. You don't need any of that bullshit. And it really is a good thing. Then you don't get hooked on pain pills, sleeping pills, uppers, downers. You don't start doing cocaine to wake up. You just use your head. It's not an addictive thing. Nobody has ever died from overdosing on marijuana.
No, definitely not. And that's my argument always as well. It's, when I've had, when I've had injuries and stuff like that, having a little bit of marijuana, you tell like almost not straight away, but almost a couple of minutes later, that pain relief and that sort of, release of that pain, it just goes away. And it's, I like I said, I keep going back to Australia, man, and Australia really needs to get on board with that. But one of the things I wanted to ask you about was your documentary, Nail in the Coffin.
Okay.
The Fall and Rise of Vampiro. So every time we see a documentary or a wrestling documentary, it's the rise and fall, but you've got it as the fall and rise. And I just wanted to understand that wording, because to me that stood out, and I'm like, why was it put like that? Why was it worded? Was that something that you thought of, or was that your idea?
Yeah, it was, because that's exactly what the movie's about. It's a 3-part series, the movie, actually, and I just finished the second part. So it's the fall of me from grace, basically, in that movie. But the rise of it is that no matter what has come in front of me, I'm seconds away from dying in that movie. That guy in that movie doesn't exist anymore. So when you see that I can't even lift my foot to take a step, it's sad. It's heartbreaking that I can't even finish a sentence. If I'm talking to you and then I just scratch my head and I look at you and I don't even know who you are, it's very heavy duty. So I put the fall because that's what people think is going to happen, and it doesn't. It doesn't. No matter what bad news comes, I'm always positive. And look at me now, man. I'm fucking schooling it, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
This is the rise, baby. I'm on fire, man. So yeah, that's why.
Yeah, no, and you mentioned, when you felt like that was like your fall from almost grace, so to speak. But I remember probably about a year ago, I saw a video of you on Facebook, and it sort of went around, and it was like you were really upset, and it was like you could see the visibleness of, you weren't knowing of what is going to happen next, and you were addressing your Alzheimer's. And to me, it was one of the most heartbreaking things to see. As I mentioned to you before, you've been one of my heroes since I was a kid. Not to age you at all, but to see that, man, that was heartbreaking for me to sit there and watch. Did you find that doing the videos was some kind of therapy for you as well, to sort of let out that feeling?
Yeah, 100%. Because I'm so anxiety ridden. It was, do you know that, did you see Clockwork Orange?
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
So, you know, when he has his eyes open and he's forced to watch whatever they're putting in front of him.
Yeah.
That was like being Vampiro for me when I was younger and in my prime. I couldn't take a step without being attacked, mobbed, just my clothes ripped, my hair cut, followed home, people breaking in my house, trying to meet it. Everybody thinks it's that level of fame, that Beatlemania hysteria. It's dangerous. And it got to the point where it was becoming an addiction because I couldn't live with it or without it. And then it became, it made me insane because I couldn't even walk to the corner. I couldn't go to the corner store. I couldn't go to McDonald's. I couldn't do anything. And I stayed inside for 1 year.
Jeez.
It just scared me so much that I froze just like now.
Yeah.
And I have a long way to go, but I found the road to go down. So my new road, I'm completely great. I'm just not a fucking problem, man. But I'm so antisocial because of these fears that I was bottling it up, and I was going to harm myself or get sicker. And I didn't want to die, and I was dying, and there was nowhere to go. There was no one to talk to. So the therapist told me, then speak on Facebook, talk to the camera. Maybe one person will hear you. Now there's over 200,000. It's the most amazing and beautiful thing that's ever happened in my life. That video has led to something so impactful. I'm so grateful, my friend.
Yeah, and like I said, that video to me was heartbreaking to watch, but hearing your story and hearing how you've overcome that, you know, many people would have given up. You know, many people would have just, you know, just given up on life or given up on the world. But for you to keep fighting and striving to get to where you are now compared to where you were at that moment in time, you know, it's completely inspiring, and it's inspiring for everybody, people that are going through stuff like that, or people that are just going through hard times in life, to be able to see something like that and see where you are now, to know that it's like, it doesn't always necessarily mean the end. It's like you put in the work and you can make things, you can improve the quality of the life that you're living if you're prepared to put that work in
an instant. Yeah, exactly. And I'm blessed to be a part of it. And I thought to myself, why am I running away from, and I want to run away from the industry, but not the world of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Because the people in pro wrestling are my friends, are my fans, and I'm a fan of them. And then I thought to myself, well, there's really nobody who speaks to us about these things. So why am I looking where to go speak when I have people who watched me still support me? So why not repay those people with this wonderful information?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the best moment of my career.
Oh, it's amazing to see, and like I said, I'm just so happy and glad to see the way that you are now, Vamp. That you definitely, you know, put in that work to sort of build yourself back up and give yourself a better quality of life. One of the things I wanted to ask you, you know, moving into you know, the pro wrestling world, you know, you were actually trained by Abdullah the Butcher. You know, how did you find Abdullah, and how did you get linked up with him in the early stages?
Well, you know, when you say trained by Abdullah the Butcher, that story has evolved over the 38 years since. So
Sure.
I was desperate to. I sold all my hockey equipment and I got a one-way bus ticket, and I had like about $40 in my pocket, and I took across Canada, across the province to because there was a wrestling show and I saw it on television and they were going to be in that town that was like 11 hours away from where I was. So I got on the bus and it was freezing. It was wintertime, a lot of snow, very, very, very cold. And I just stood outside the arena until I saw the ring truck pull up, and I asked the guy, "May I please help you bring the stuff in, and in exchange for letting me ask you some questions on how to get into this business?" And they just looked at me like I was insane, and they told me to go fuck myself and get out of there and all these kind of things, and I wouldn't go. And then they made me work, and I worked, and they were like, "Okay, this kid's not going to go anywhere." So Abdullah the butcher was sitting there watching all this, and I didn't know, and I just went up to him and I said, "Excuse me, sir, may I speak with you?" And he freaked out and started speaking in whatever language it was, and they told me, "Leave him alone and leave him alone. He's going to hurt you," and la la la. And after they saw I wasn't leaving, they said, "If you're very serious, show up in 2 weeks, and if you show up, you can stay in the ring truck for the tour, and you'll have to hustle for whatever it is you're going to eat. We're not going to pay you, but if you make it through that trial, then we'll bring you on." And that's exactly how it went, and that's exactly what I did. And it was an amazing adventure.
Oh, I can imagine. When you got in there and started training for the first time, was it what you expected? Was it? Yeah, did they smarten you up to the business, or did you?
No. That's what Abdullah did. He was like, because they would beat the shit out of me, and they wouldn't let me go in the ring. They used to slam me on the floor, and it was like roller skating arenas or hockey arenas. So it was like cement or boards on top of the ice because it was wintertime. So they would slam me and slam me and slam me like over and over and over and suplex me. And I would never quit. And then, some of the older guys were like, "Leave the kid alone, leave the kid alone." And I would cry, and I would, I couldn't even move, but I wasn't going to quit. And then one day Abdullah started teaching me some things, stabbing with the fork and he just told me a lot about, and especially about the psychology of storytelling and being the character and how tough it is to break into the brotherhood, and that I was being tested, and I was doing okay, and I was just blown away. And then I started spending more time with Abdullah, and he would start showing me distinct mannerisms and explaining the psychology of things, and that's pretty much how I started.
And from there, where did you move from? Once you started you got your training done and you spent some time with Abdullah, and you sort of put those little intricacies that go into wrestling and gave you all that information. Where was the next step for you?
That was in Montreal, and so that company went out of business because all of the stars. This was right at WWE. What are they called now? Is that what they're called? WWE?
WWE, yeah.
Oh, fuck. See, I don't even know. When they were called WWF, they didn't even have national television. They were like local, New York State, a little bit of Canada. So they used to come and do dual shows with the company in Montreal, because the company in Montreal was stronger, if you can believe it. They had better talent. And sooner or later, Vince McMahon made a deal with Rick Martel, who was the AWA champion, who was owner of the company in Montreal. And he made a deal that he would take the top stars to New York, to WWE. And that basically bankrupted the company because it happened. They didn't tell the other guys. What they did was they put the company up for sale. and they sold it to the guys at a discounted price.
Oh,
And they didn't tell the guys that they were leaving.
so they basically all the boys just got screwed out of everything, and
yeah, and not a lot of people know that, and not a lot of people. And if anybody remembers it or anybody from there gets all upset about it, I was there, I saw it, so I have no reason to make that up. It doesn't. I don't really care. It was so long ago, but that's exactly what happened. So from there, I went to Los Angeles. I went back to Toronto, from Toronto, Mexico, and I never left until 3 years ago.
yeah, right. And Mexico has been a big part of your career. You've got the Mexico tattoo on your arm as well.
Yeah.
You know, how was the culture going down there? Like when you first moved to Mexico, did you? Because I know that you speak Spanish fluently, correct?
Yes, I do. What's this? I just seeing some of these comments. What's this guy? So when did?
Oh, okay, this is Angel Medina, who is former ECW original.
What is he?
He wants to know. He wants to know. So when did the heat start or come from between you and Rob Feinstein?
There's no heat. What are you talking about? Dude, I hate wrestling. Dude, I got no. What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. I got to deal with everybody, man. And if Rob Feinstein was here, is hey man, how you doing, brother? The gossip starts, and if that, oh my god, I don't even know how to answer that.
It's all right, man. Angel's known for making people speechless like that. So
all right. But no, I learned Spanish in Mexico. I had no clue. And I was 19, 20 years old,
Yeah.
I was basically living on the street, and like 3 weeks later, I was like this national icon. How are you supposed to handle that, right? How are you supposed to go from sleeping under a car, eating out of garbage cans, stealing, robbing, fighting, beating, using drugs, all that shit, to becoming a celebrity? Who teaches you how to make that transition? Yeah, right. How do you prepare for that?
That would be the ultimate mindfuck, though. Like going from being homeless to then being like one of the biggest stars in Mexico. It's.
Well, tell me.
Dude, you did it, brother. You did it.
Yeah, but it fucked me up for a long time. I'm just now dealing with it, and it really, really put me through the ringer. I didn't think I was going to make it. I've had 2 strokes. I almost didn't make it. I almost, I thought I was going to die. If the people who helped me didn't come into my life when they did, I wouldn't be here. There's no way. Yeah, it really messed with me. Yeah, I had no guidance. I had no strength. I had no maturity. I had no clue. I mean, why am I going to lie about it? Did I fuck around? Yeah, I had fun. Of course, of course I did. But that's not what did it. It's, when you're wrestling 5, 6, 7 times a day, 7 days a week for 5, 6, 7 years, then you start taking pain medicines and other things to cope with the results of your stupidity of never recovering. And then all of a sudden, when you're no longer, the flavor of the month, and you get kicked to the curb, but you still have the same expenses and your family has moved on without you, what do you think happens?
Yeah, it fucks with your head big time.
Of course.
And that's the thing, man. Like to have to go through that, like everyone thinks, and they see celebrity status, they think money, fame, you have everything in the world, you have no problems in the world. But money and fame doesn't take away people's problems. It can mask them to a certain degree, but it definitely doesn't take them away.
No, it doesn't. And but I absolutely love where I'm at right now. So I'm good with it all. And I'm hoping that that all of these experiences, I don't even say they were negative anymore, because they weren't negative. They were results of my choices. So I'd like to take what I learned from that and share it with people who need a little bit of advice and needs to help them make their own decisions, right? So I think it was a great thing that I had these experiences. I don't see anything negative about it.
I think like the experiences make you who the person you are today. And it's like without that, it would be a different different outcome. So we have a few people writing in. So Wrestling Review Society, which is Kevin Rodriguez, he says, Vamp, one of the ways that you manage your mental health is with meditation. What is it about meditation you find so helpful?
Well, when you commit, I'll do my best with this one, so be with me. It's not your everyday yoga type meditations. When you commit to the protocol of the ascension process, okay, when you communicate with the quantum field basically is the law and the energy and the life and light and love of the universe. It just is what it is. Anyways, when you send out a positive intention and the universe responds to you, that's the beauty of it, because you get the power of where we originally came from, and it's strong. It rocks your fucking world. But the process of getting there is where you've got to find your puzzle pieces and put them together. So you've got to commit to the meditation. And that doesn't mean just sitting there going Om. That means finding the correct frequencies, making sure you're at the right time of day so that the stars and the planets and the sun, because that's the trick to it, is in the right position. So I got to meditate every morning at 3:40 a.m. because that's where my universal time clock is. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I get up at that time, and that's when I meditate in the morning, for example. So that is one thing, discovering the frequencies, the positioning of the body, the way to breathe, and the activation of the chemicals in your brain, especially when you're using marijuana. Oh my God. And you start getting responses. That's how you find the angels. If you really believe in that kind of stuff, that's what moves you. So if you commit to that and you're in that constant trance of being positive, you have to eat that way so that your body can vibrate at the correct frequency, because food is water. Water vibrates better. You don't have dead flesh in you, and you just go to another level. I'm telling you, once you get into it, you commit to that, you time travel, my friend.
I've been big on meditation for a long time, and talking about mental health, I have suffered from depression and that sort of stuff since a teenager. And when I was in my 20s, which I'm 38 now, I really sort of dived into meditation because someone said this is what's going to help you. Like, people could see that I was just breaking down. I had friends worried about I was going to commit suicide and shit like that. So people were trying to help give me different avenues to go down, and I found meditation is still something that I do to this day. Finding that time and frequency is something I've just learned from you, and I really appreciate you saying that, because it's now something I can now go and find the best time for me to meditate to get that best result.
Yeah, it means everything, man. I mean, I got so deep into it. I have a little speaker that's the size of I don't know, the size of this, for example. Like, it's tiny, and it vibrates. So whatever, if you put it on a bowl, right, like a small bowl, it vibrates, and that's your speaker. Depends on the size of where you put it. So if you take a bath and you put that there with the frequencies and vibrations and Om chants, the whole bathtub vibrates when you're in there. And that's what you're made out of, is water. So you just transcend to another level. Just these little tricks that you when you study, you learn. My friend, we definitely come from another time and place, and that's the trick to go home. So yeah. It's awesome.
Absolutely. We have a few more questions coming in. Coming in, so we will try and get to them. I do try and, guys, if I haven't brought up your question, I do apologize. I just try and keep the comments that I bring up more in line to what we're talking about, but we will get to them. But we'll bring up one from Eli Myers, who said, how was it learning from greats like Eddie Guerrero, Conan, Rey Mysterio, just to turn to teach your knowledge to Pentagon and Rey Fenix?
That's a great question. I didn't learn. Eddie Guerrero helped me a lot. with Conan and Rey Mysterio, there was really no interaction as far as training or anything like that. Having experiences on the road with them, yeah. But the one who helped me for a good amount of time was Eddie Guerrero. And that was great because we were both young guys and we were, but Eddie came from another dynasty and I was just like, half a year into the business and I didn't know how to control that fame. And I was like, dude, please help me. Cause I look like a fucking idiot. So, he really kind of took me under his wing and I love him forever for that, when Eddie was having some difficulties, I made sure that his family, his baby had what she needed. We were family, man. And I don't know what happened in the end. There's all kind of rumors, things soured. I don't believe it. I don't care what he said or what was written. I got love for Eddie and I always will for those reasons. Right.
Absolutely.
But I've learned so much, man. I spent time in Japan, years in Japan, all over Europe. And I started to get into the production side of things, in the early 2000s after I really got hurt in WCW. And so I was kind of studying for that role over time. And then, I got into fight choreography and I was doing movie work in Mexico, teaching guys how to fight on screen. And I was really into martial arts. So I really learned how to be a teacher because I had a couple dojos and things like that. And I absolutely fell in love with the role of being a producer. So with Pentagon, he just needed refining. He has all the talent in the world. But when you have a certain charisma, you don't need to learn anymore. You need to learn how to reserve and refresh and reboot things so that people will support you for a while.
Yeah.
But, he has that charisma. So he was doing things that mean something in Mexico, but don't mean anything in the United States. Like in Mexico, the wrestlers don't understand storyline or psychology.
Yeah.
So even though if you and I are wrestling and somebody else, instead of paying attention to the match and trying to participate, adding to the storyline, he'll do something completely off fucking base that has nothing to do with anything and draws the attention to him, and the people miss what the story's about. It's just a mess. So he would do things like he would ask for applause from the people. And it was like, we're trying to make you Lucifer, you stupid ass. Fuck the people. Stop that shit. And then if he missed a move, he would punch the mat. Like an angry little
frustration.
Boy.
Yeah.
And it was like, you're Lucifer, you stupid fuck. You don't care if you win or lose or you break it doesn't matter to you. You have a different thing. You're going to hurt somebody whether they like it or not. You don't do those things for cheap heat. So it was a process with him, and they were going to fire him. They were going to let him go because he wasn't getting it. And his work, like, it was there, but it wasn't there because he didn't come out of his shell yet. And they asked me, how do we get him out of that shell? Because I was from Mexico and all that. So I said, he needs to beat somebody. He needs to beat a star. That's what they did for me. I beat Sting. I beat Hulk Hogan, and look what happened to Vampiro. So he needs to beat somebody. Nobody, and there was about 4 or 5 superstars on the program at that time, and I don't want to say any names because wrestlers are a bunch of pussies and they all get all fucked up and have to go to therapy for 20 years if you mention their names. Nobody wanted to work with him because they didn't think he was strong enough they were going to get damaged. And I'm like, this is not really real. You know that, right? But anyways, so I said, I'll do it. And they were like, what do you mean? I said, my fantasy in wrestling has always been to play 2 characters, like my hero, Muda. So unpainted Vampiro, the commentator who has mental health issues and is a pillhead and a freak, is one. And then the evil Pope is the master. So, but nobody knew that. Pentagon didn't even know that until the day of the match. Nobody knew. The creative team, like there was like 4 or 5 of us who knew. Nobody knew. And it was probably the most amazing thing ever because even Pentagon was just, he was in tears because he was so emotional about how cool the story was. And it was such a beautiful moment because I was literally part of a Star is Born moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got to see somebody find themselves, and I was a part of that. It was wonderful. It was great.
And
Yeah.
and that match that you had with him as well, it's like for a guy that was in your shoes at that time, didn't need to go through that much punishment, and for you to put on this match, which is a death match essentially, and to go through that much punishment in the ring at that stage of your career, to give him the rub, to give him that moment to shine, was outstanding to see, because you don't necessarily see that from veterans like yourself that have been in the business for that long. It's like they don't see the need to do that in their career at that point. But for you to do that, you saw the value in what you needed to do to get him to where he needed to be.
I mean, many people have done that for me, and it's just a demonstration of character. I had my moment. I'm in other areas in the business industry or my career now.
Yep.
This young man deserves the opportunity, and he wasn't getting it. And I just thought it was the right thing to do. It was amazing for me. I just, what everybody saw on TV is not what happened. I got in a lot of trouble. I almost lost my job because it's a TV show.
Yeah.
So each match has a 6-minute time limit, period. My match was 47 minutes. So what you saw, times that by 10, it was rocking, my brother. And the place out of their fucking minds. And they had to cut it down. But I had to do it to say goodbye to Vampiro. And if the fans were really gonna buy Pentagon, he couldn't beat Vampiro in 6 minutes. He had to fight for his life for 47 minutes. That's the only way. And you didn't need to see it on TV because the fans, the word of mouth, made him an urban legend. And it's exactly what we set out to do, and I did it.
It was amazing. It was great storytelling. I really wish I could see the whole 47-minute match, because I that would have been an absolute beautiful thing to see. Because what I saw of that match, what was put on television, I was enamored with it. You guys had me hooked. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. The storyline of what went into it as well was just from bell to bell. It was just an amazing thing to see.
Yeah, Christian Joseph was the writer for a lot, all of it, and Christopher Roach. Those two guys, they were geniuses, and they came up with the greatest. It was phenomenal. It really was. It was amazing. We kept it secret for the whole year. It's pretty cool.
Oh, dude, it was rocking, man. But you mentioned the Great Muta as being one of your heroes and wrestling inspirations. And the Great Muta is, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all time, and one of the guys who's probably the most underrated as being the greatest of all time. In WCW, you were in a tag team with him.
Yes.
How did that all come about? Was Muta, did you get asked to bring Muta in? Because the partnership with you and Muta, it really seemed to gel well together. The work that you guys did together just seemed to be so seamless as well. How did that all come about?
Well, Muta didn't need anybody. He doesn't need anybody. He was in WCW, I don't know, 15, 17 years before I even got there. He was a mega star in the United States for a lot of years before any of that happened. Yeah. I think that he's the greatest heavyweight wrestler ever. I just think he's the guy who started it all, the moonsaulting and the big kicks. And I couldn't wrestle. I wasn't a very good wrestler, and I didn't know what to do because I didn't have any time to train to be a mat wrestler. I was working too much, but I could study martial arts. And when I saw Muta throw those high kicks and spinning kicks, I said, I could do that because I'm tall and it'll look great on television and I'll be different. So that's how I started to develop my style, was based on him. and just his movements. And when I met Muda, when I knew he was coming in, I begged. I can't tell you how much I begged the office to let me team with him. He's my hero.
Yeah.
And they saw the tie-in because that was kind of starting with Vampiro and Sting. So, and Sting and Muda had their feud, and I was like, Muda would pass the torch to me, just like I did the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Figure that one out. Not a lot of people know that, but that psychologically, that's been in my mind since then. That's what happened. So when I was in WCW, I was 33 or 33 years old, I think. And I was at the best. That was it. I was a pro fighter. I was doing MMA stuff. I was doing kickboxing, boxing. I was on point. I was training with the Olympic team for Taekwondo and judo, black belt, all that bullshit. And my work was that it was crisp. It was on point. It was pa. It was just like spot on. Yeah. And I could mirror. There's a match of me against Muda, and I do everything he does, move for move, and I do it before he does it, just like him. You cannot tell the difference. And he saw that as a sign of respect because that's what it is. And I learned him. I was breathing like him. And even the twitches and the movements and the pops and the hand signals and just everything. So we had the idea that it was just like one big Muda match, because even if he had to tag out, it would be a fluid thing. It would be a copy of him. And it was fun to do. We didn't tell anybody, but people were like, there's something going on here. So it was another thing that I think I was ahead of my time on.
Oh, absolutely. Like I was a huge fan of the Dark Carnival. Like as a kid growing up, as a teenager, I was a huge punk rock, goth music sort of fan. And I definitely resonated with your character and your style. And when the Dark Carnival came to be, man, and that to me was like, this is like everything that I love. This is like rock and roll and wrestling and punk and everything just rolled into one with this one faction. And one of the things I wanted to mention as well, because it's pretty well known that you had the relationship with the Insane Clown Posse as well.
Yeah.
And on one episode of Nitro, you came out with the JCW heavyweight title and basically told WCW, your belt ain't worth shit. This is the only belt, and really sort of put that on the map and put JCW's name more out there. Like me at the time, I didn't know who JCW was. I knew who ICP was. But then I started learning about JCW and trying to find stuff on them. How did that whole part come to it? Was there any reservations from WCW about you coming out there with the JCW belt, or did they even know about it? Did you just walk out there and I'm taking this with me?
That was pretty radical, huh? I forgot about that.
Dude, that to me was like what, because that in wrestling you don't see from another major from a promotion.
At that time, it never happened before. Because I respect and I'm a fan of, and I got nothing but love for Shane Douglas. And, everybody crucified Shane Douglas when he threw the NWA or whatever title it was down. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, what can I do to better that? How much more trouble can I get in here? And I thought, well, instead of throwing it down, I'm going to take another one from an independent company and I'm going to say it's from the streets, for the streets, by the streets, and your belt ain't shit. I thought that was pretty punk rock. And I thought, I better not say anything. They said, go out there and say a few words and get some heat. All right. That was it.
I actually got from our sponsor, Wasif Championship Belts. They made something, and I thought it would be pretty cool to show you.
Yeah, let me see.
One of their latest creations.
Let's see. Oh shit! There you go.
Yeah, man. There you go. That is triple stacked 4mm zinc, so that's the best quality that you can find. But yeah, this is one of our sponsors for the show. And they've recently just made this belt, so I'm actually gonna. I think I need to add that to my collection. Definitely, it's an amazing looking belt. But
how much does a belt go for like that?
That one I believe is 500 American.
That's an amazing price.
Yeah,
Yeah. Keep it. We'll talk after, but I can help promote that because that's a great belt and that's a great price and it's a lot better than what's over here.
Oh, absolutely. But one of the other promotions I wanted to really ask you about, because I was a huge fan of this promotion in the early 2000s, and you definitely had your hand in there, and you were for quite a few matches you were there, which was XPW, based out in California. For those who don't know, XPW, which was Extreme Pro Wrestling, was run by Rob Black, who owned Extreme Associates, which was an adult film company. Yep. But the adult films that they made were not your sort of normal blue movies. They were very much on another level of filth or disgust. But yeah, what's your memory of working with XPW and how did that partnership come to be?
I mean, I needed to make a living. So, as an independent wrestler, there wasn't really a lot going on. And you needed to get the good shows, and you needed to earn your place to keep your place back then, because there wasn't as much independent wrestling available, right? So
yeah,
it was strange for me because, well, they treated me like gold, and they were the greatest guys. And I've actually developed a friendship from there. Kevin Kleinrock, who's been a brother since then, and we're still friends to this day. But I mean, it was a trip, man, because they treated me like gold. But when I got there, that was my, the company had already been going, and I had got there, and they were all like, that like the Lord of Darkness has come home type thing, and they just all respected me beyond belief. And I was like so intimidated because these were scary looking motherfuckers. These were big, crazy looking dudes with piercings and fucked up heads and scar tissue and just like jumping, just crazy fucking guys. And I was like, wow, man, this is, I'm an intense dude, but these guys are tripping me out. But it was cool, man, because everybody was so friendly. Everybody was just beautiful. Really, they really were. And there was a lot of people, you got to remember, a lot of people like myself who came from where we came from, the rebellious guys. There were some people that had some serious addiction issues. There were some fucked up things going on back then. But it was a great family. It really was. But Rob Black, man, he was super cool with me always. He really was. And it was a trip. You go to get paid, and there's, all the porno girls are there, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? It was a really, really man, because you go in the dressing room and you got the monsters, and you're just like, I gotta get the fuck away from that. You turn around over here and it's like a porno fest. I don't understand what's going on. Just give me my money and let me go home. It was weird. It was weird.
Man, XPW was one of those promotions I find that like it really could have been much bigger than what it really was. Like it had potential and I had a lot, but it just never really got past that 2-3 year mark. And they had some great talent there, man. They had some scary looking dudes, as you said. But Vampiro, look, we have just gone over that 1 hour mark, and I do want to be respectful of your time. So we are
any more of these questions or no?
Yeah, we can definitely go into that.
Pick like 3, dude. Let's do it.
All right, no worries. So here's a good one. So when you brought the Misfits into WCW, were you guys as a group trying to get over as faces or heels? You seem like heels, but you were feuding with other heels like Berlin, etc. As a Fitz fan, I was excited to see them, but confused about how they were presented, especially with Bobby Heenan making jokes the whole time.
Well, I tried to explain to WCW that the Vampiro character, they tried to make him a bad guy, but people loved Vampiro, just like they did in Mexico. He was like the Billy Idol, the good bad boy.
Yeah.
And it was because I was just a humble dude, man. And it was because I was accessible and I was cool with the people. So I said, listen, there's this underground band that's having a resurgence in their career, the Misfits, and they're friends of mine. They're playing across the street. Let me The idea was to present the Misfits. I said, let me go out there with them and watch how the people are going to react. Not the people in the arena. Watch how the fucking internet's going to react. And I said, because the idea was to play live with the Misfits on stage as the entrance music instead of having recorded music. Just let's do one song and then I will go to the ring and destroy somebody. So that was the idea. And it was about to happen, but then it fell apart. So Bobby Heenan knew about this right here knows more about the Misfits than Bobby Heenan could if he went to 400,000 Misfits concerts. You know what I mean? Yeah. God bless Bobby Heenan, but fuck him. You know what I'm saying? And all those guys that laughed and didn't get it because they didn't know. They've never seen anything like that. It was really like Martians had landed. It was pretty fucking intense, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, bro, absolutely. Kevin Rodriguez, he is saying, Vamp, can you show Piers your rock that look black until bright light hits it?
Oh, that's me. Good, but I don't know where it is, man.
No, that's cool, man.
I'm sorry, dude.
No, don't be sorry at all.
All right.
So we have another question here from Tim Samp. He says, Vampiro, who is the real face, Sting or Goldberg?
Who was the
real WCW face? I think they're trying to say who was the real face of WCW, Sting or Goldberg. I think they both were at different times.
The company was in the Sting camp, and the other half of the company was in the Goldberg camp. The ones that they couldn't get into the good old boy club with, the Ric Flair and the Andersons and the Stings and all that. The old school good boy club, they just jumped ship to Goldberg, and they did everything they could to bring the other crew down. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Okay, so we'll go one more last question from the audience from Eli. He says, if you could come back to a major company and mentor someone to the dark side, who would it be and why? Ooh, that's interesting.
I don't think I would. I got other things going on. I'm in such a different place, and I'm creating other TV stuff, and I got music projects going on. I got these movie things going on. I got the podcast thing coming up. I don't. Okay. I don't. It doesn't have to be a major company. If there's a young man or woman who I see that was in a similar position that I was, that's what would make me commit spiritually and emotionally to teaching that person everything I know. It could be a person in the backyard wrestling. It doesn't need to be in a big company. If I see that person is authentically sincere and nobody else is helping, and that person could fall through the cracks, I'd step in. Yeah, that would do it for me.
That's incredible. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time to play Guess the Aussie Slang game. We have prepared Vampiro for this. So we're going to give him a few. How it works, Vampiro, is I'm going to give you an Aussie slang word. I'm going to put it in a sentence so you have some form of context for it. And you're going to tell me what this slang word means, okay? So this is just a bit of fun. And we'll start off. Okay. Nah, man, don't be sorry at all. I'm just jealous. I wish I could have a puff.
I feel it's really cool, man. There's so many people that come on my live feed and they just say hi to me. I wish I can get there. I wish somebody brings my live show there. But anyways, we'll get to that another time.
Absolutely.
Go for it.
All right, so here it is. The first word is going to be, slang is dogged it. Dogged it, yeah, like a dog. Dogged it. I can't believe you dogged it last night.
You fucked it.
No, to dog something is to like not show up.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it means like it's a dogged it. Okay, next one is drongo. That guy is a fucking drongo. Drongo.
Asshole?
Yeah, like just basically like a piece of shit. All right. So we got another one.
Like a pro wrestler. What?
All right. Oh, wow. My mouth is dry as a dead dingo's donger in the sun.
Like a dead something's asshole or ball sack in the sun.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it basically means I'm thirsty, usually for like a beer or something like that.
Yeah, because I'm so dry, like that dead fucking carcass over there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So we got another one. Dunny. Oh, where's your dunny?
Where's your penis?
No, dunny is a toilet.
Oh, I thought
All
that
right.
was a penis.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
Fair dinkum. That's all right, man. Fair dinkum. Seriously, is that bloke fair dinkum or what?
is he fucking mental case?
It means like, are you for real?
Okay.
Like, are you seriously like fair dinkum? All right, so we'll go a couple more. All right, so next is bogan. My uncle Daryl is a real bloody bogan.
Oh, I don't know, man. That's a bad word in Canada. Yeah,
Oh, really?
you go to jail for that word in Canada.
Oh shit. Well, in Australia, a bogan is like a what they call in America a redneck. Like that's like a real Aussie sort of like a
Really?
bogan. Yeah, like someone like a bogan would probably talk like this. Yeah, hey, oh, mate, we're gonna go down the pub, have a few schooners, maybe grab a schnitto, and fucking see how we go. That's how like a bogan talks, like someone who's really, really, true blue.
Okay, yeah, no, I fuck, I got no clue, dude.
That's all right, man. So we'll go one more, which this one is budgie smuggler. My dad's outside. He just got out of the pool and he's in his budgie smuggler.
I don't know. It sounds like it's got something to do with the anus or the nuts. I don't know.
It's actually a Speedo.
Yeah, so I thought wedged up his
Yeah.
arm, wasn't it, or something like that?
Well, no, because it's a Speedo. The reason why they call a Speedo a budgie smuggler is because when you get out of the water at the front, it looks like you're smuggling a budgie.
Yeah, that's what I thought. See, it has something to do with the nuts, right?
It did. But guys, look, that's been Shooting the Shit Uncensored. Firstly, I'd just like to thank my guest Vampiro for coming on. This has been one of those surreal moments for me, Vamp, to actually sit down and talk with you. As I said multiple times throughout this interview, I've been a huge fan of yours throughout your career, and to sit down and meet one of my heroes today has been a dream come true, and I really appreciate your time to give me. So thank you. Also, I'd like to thank the audience for tuning in for this episode, as they do all of my content. I really appreciate you guys. Also, make sure that you head out and check out my sponsors: Wasif Championship Belts, A-Rock Design, Signal Studios. Go there, show those guys some love, because seriously, guys, they do amazing stuff with amazing products and you won't be disappointed. But guys, until next time, I'm Piers Austin. This is Vampiro, and we'll catch you next time around. Peace, guys.